The Dutch Grand Prix is staring down the barrel of what could be Formula One's most chaotic weekend in years, and the leaked details emerging from Zandvoort paint a picture of absolute pandemonium that threatens to shake the very foundations of the championship battle. Weather forecasters have delivered devastating news for the Orange Army and their home hero Max Verstappen. An unprecedented 80% chance of rain is locked in for the entire weekend from Friday to Sunday. The North Sea's merciless winds are set to howl between 15 and 30 kilometers per hour, creating a perfect storm that will push both man and machine to their absolute limits. Temperatures will plummet from a modest 20 degrees Celsius on Friday to a bone-chilling 18 degrees on Saturday, transforming Zandvoort's challenging layout into a treacherous battleground where one wrong move could end championship dreams in an instant. The specter of recent weather disasters looms large over this weekend's proceedings, with the FIA's catastrophic handling of Belgium 2024 still fresh in everyone's memory, and the nightmare of Spa 2021, hers, where rain completely prevented the race from starting, serving as a stark reminder of what Mother Nature can do to Formula One's best-laid plans. In a place like Zandvoort, positioned right next to the North Sea, wind becomes a massive factor in car balance, but ultimately it falls to each driver to tame these conditions as much as humanly possible. The FIA has made a desperate gamble by increasing the pit lane speed limit from 60 to 80 kilometers per hour, a move designed with one singular goal: to artificially promote two-stop race strategies and inject life into what has become a processional circuit. Zandvoort presents a tyre degradation nightmare that has forced the governing body to stir the competitive pot, but Pirelli's own technical analysis reveals the harsh reality behind this intervention. Pirelli has officially stated that while circuits like Suzuka, Leclerc, Silverstone and Spa are technically harder on tyres than Zandvoort, the Dutch Grand Prix venue holds the distinction of having the highest energy density of any track on the calendar. This devastating combination stems from Zandvoort's relatively short length, packed with an extraordinary number of corners, combined with a critical lack of straights where tyres could find relief and cool down. The grip and roughness of the asphalt creates average conditions that result in exceptionally high tyre wear, according to Pirelli themselves. However, team simulations have revealed a crushing blow to the FIA's hopes. One-stop strategy remains the fastest approach, primarily because overtaking at Zandvoort remains notoriously difficult with very few straights apart from the main one, combined with the entire track being quite narrow. The FIA needs to further stir up the pot and create artificial competitiveness, but the fundamental problems of Zandvoort's layout continue to resist these interventions. The championship battlefield has never been more intense.
Felt good before, I feel good now. Of course, I went through some harder times at the beginning of the year. I had a good start, but there were some trickier moments, and we worked on quite a bit, me from my side and the team from their side, to improve and kind of get a little bit back on track, and we did that. So it was nice to see some of those results come back my way. I mean, could I have at times made maybe better decisions?
Lando, Norris and Oscar Piastri emerging as the only two protagonists capable of challenging for the driver's title. Norris has declared himself to be at the absolute peak of his abilities, stating with unwavering confidence, "Nothing makes my life feel different. It's just your preparedness for this moment, for this battle." From a racing side, I've learned a lot of things. You're just more prepared for any situation. I feel now more like the most complete driver I've ever been. The McLaren driver's momentum is undeniable. He has claimed victory in 3 of the last 4 races, narrowing the championship gap to just 9 points between the teammates. Norris elaborated on his current mindset. "It doesn't necessarily make it easier. You're still racing the best drivers in the world, but you're just more prepared. And I think at times, that just allows you to show more of your potential." The psychological warfare intensifies when considering that Norris delivered a devastating 20-second victory over Verstappen at Zandvoort last year, right in front of the Dutch driver's passionate home supporters. Ferrari has emerged as an unexpected threat that could completely derail both McLaren drivers' championship aspirations. McLaren team principal Andrea Stella has issued a stark warning about the Maranello-based team's potential to steal crucial points in the season's second half. Despite Ferrari being primarily focused on 2026 development after having no realistic chance for championship glory in either category, Stella believes the Italian squad will be a major factor in the remaining 10 races, starting from Zandvoort. Stella explained his expectations about Ferrari's threat level. "I'm not surprised by Ferrari's pole position in Hungary because they have been competitive over the last few races. They were competitive in the dry in Silverstone and they were competitive in Belgium. I think they are going to be a contender for victories for the remainder of the season," the McLaren boss continued. "Definitely anytime we are racing for the second part of the season, we would have to take into account that in qualifying and in the race, we would have to deal with Ferrari." Ferrari secured their first pole position of 2025 in Hungary, and they're determined to carry that momentum into Zandvoort, creating a three-way battle that complicates every strategic calculation for the championship contenders. Red Bull Racing faces an internal crisis that threatens to undermine Verstappen's championship defense. Yuki Tsunoda has delivered a shockingly underwhelming performance as Max's teammate, accumulating only 7 points throughout the season. The Japanese driver's struggles reached a new low in Hungary, where he failed to advance to Q3 despite having competitive pace, creating additional pressure on a team already fighting to maintain their competitive edge. The situation becomes more dire when considering the rising pressure from Red Bull's junior driver program, with Hadjar, Lawson, Lindblad, and Alex Palou all waiting in the wings for their opportunity. However, team principal Laurent Mekies has maintained public support for Tsunoda, stating, "The priority is to give Yuki what he needs to perform. With regard to the second seat, that's where the priority is. It's what the team is concentrated on." Mekies added, "They have been trying that for a number of races now. We are trying to find ways together to make a further step." Spa was very positive. Certainly from that perspective, Hungary was a tricky weekend overall. So, it's probably a bit more difficult to judge. But there is no reason why Yuki's performance cannot be what we have seen in the past. Legal complications have emerged as the Netherlands government has implemented a strict prohibition on betting company promotions, forcing Sauber to replace their stake branding with streaming platform Kick for Dutch viewers. This regulatory challenge has already affected circuits in Belgium, Spain, Australia, and Qatar, creating a global pattern of restrictions that impacts team revenue streams and marketing strategies. The most devastating revelation concerns Zandvoort's future on the Formula One calendar. 2026 is highly likely to mark the final Dutch Grand Prix due to the overwhelming financial burden that has become unsustainable for both the government and race organizers. The circuit officials have rejected offers to rotate with other races, and with NASCAR and IndyCar showing interest in taking over the facility, Verstappen faces the heartbreaking prospect of losing his home race advantage. Since Zandvoort's return to the calendar in 2021, Verstappen has achieved 4 podiums with 3 race victories, making this potential loss particularly devastating for both the driver and the passionate Orange Army that has created an unparalleled atmosphere at every Dutch Grand Prix. The combination of unpredictable weather, FIA interventions, fierce championship battles, and the looming uncertainty about the race's future creates a perfect storm that could make this weekend one of the most memorable and chaotic in Formula One history.